hope this does. We'll check it every bit.
Okay. Hi, I'm Kylie.
I'm Curtis.
And we are very excited to be submitting for this video. We'll just kind of jump right into it. So, How did we meet? Obviously, we met on Bumble. Big Bumble fans over here. Mm-hmm. Just swiped, and then that was kind of it. You have kind of a good
So we both were living in Long Beach at the time, and both of us were dating via apps, and unfortunately Kylie had her geographic location blocked from where she was living. So it was, I think, Memorial Day weekend, and I got fortunate enough that I was outside of the geographic location where she was, and we matched. And when she found out I lived in Long Beach, I think it was like how'd that happen?
Well, so when I was dating, I'm born and raised in Long Beach, and I didn't want to match with anybody in Long Beach. It's awkward. There's like teachers and there's high school friends, and it just gets, everybody kind of knows how that feels. And so I was working in LA at the time, and so every time I did not want to connect with somebody in Long Beach, I would turn off my geolocation because I was like, absolutely not. We are blocking out all Long Beachians. But Curtis slipped the cracks. And there he was. And so we initially connected, and it was like, I was trying to be, cool girl. And I was like, oh yeah, working in LA, going to be moving to Santa Monica here pretty soon. And he's like, oh, like I live in Long Beach. And I was like, how did he get through my very strategic block of Long Beach? So
all good fortune.
Yeah. So we met up for drinks, and kind of the rest is history at that point.
So the dating process.
Yes.
So the dating process for me, I was working, I think we both were working a lot. I was working like 75 hours a week and not really getting out. So I was dating on apps and driving an hour and a half to go on first dates. And I met some really great people. It was interesting, but there was this process of like, okay, I'm going to put on my first date Curtis face and be first date Curtis, and they're going to see that. They're not going to see who I really am. And it took a while during that process to realize why I wasn't finding people interesting long term, or what was going to happen until I met Kylie. And at that point, it's like, all right, I'm going to be myself. And there was a moment in our first date where some song came on, and she expressed, it was a Fleetwood Mac song, and she talks about how she liked Rumors by Fleetwood Mac, and I was like, oh, I love Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. And that led into this spiraling off conversation about music and how we were raised and how we grew up, and us kind of becoming ourselves rather than first date Curtis and first date Kylie. Right. And that shift in process was great.
Same thing for me with like the dating process, and Curtis and I have talked about this a lot. Like, we met a lot of really interesting people, and that was the goal for dating. Like, that's the whole point. And I think we both were, by definition, successful because we met a lot of really nice people, and we appreciate our experience doing that because that's what it's all about. That's what dating is, to meet people that you think are interesting.
Yeah.
And it was fun, met some really good people, met some kind of weird, funky people, but in the end, like, we have these really great stories to tell from them. And we've talked about this where we both kind of had one singular goal in mind, was just to get ourselves out there, to be single, to be, have fun. And we both had such busy schedules that neither of us were looking for like the person. Like, in no way was I looking for my person. I had this like realization, almost like a week or so before meeting Curtis, where I was like, I'm really okay being alone. I'm happy being alone. I'm having fun. And then came Curtis, and I was like, I need Curtis. Like, that's what I need. That's what I want. So first impressions, okay.
We're still recording.
Okay, that's good. First impressions. So I know my first impression, and we've talked about this a lot, and it probably will be some feature in our wedding, because I remember sitting down and looking across the table at this man just after a couple minutes of talking to him.
Who she thought was shorter than her.
I thought he was,
sitting
short.
down.
I thought he was short. I thought this whole time he was short, and I was so scared.
I didn't put my height in my profile, and it almost came back to bite me.
I did. I was so nervous, but I showed up anyways because, I'm open and excited to meet people. And I sat down at the table, and after a couple minutes of conversation, it was just kind of like, and I apologized for cursing, but I was like, shit, like, this guy is going to ruin/change everything and make my life obviously better, because I just couldn't fathom not having him in my life, which is a very weird thought to have on a first date. So you can imagine how taken aback I was when I thought that, and I was like, well, maybe I had too many margaritas, but I only had one. So
yeah, that punch drunk love, that kind of drunken love sensation definitely kicked in before the margaritas did on our first date. Like I said, or at least I had that experience of, you meet somebody and they're like interview self, first date interview self, and our date started like that, and after 2 minutes we reached that point and it changed, and I could tell Kiely was kind of being who she really was and comfortable with this sense of, accept me for who I am or don't. I'm comfortable being who I am.
That's exactly how it was. It was both. I think weirdly, both of us simultaneously, kind of separately, obviously in our own thoughts, like had this inner monologue of like, I'm just gonna be myself. Like, yeah. I give up. I'm gonna be myself, and I did. Like, I just threw it out there. I told him all the weird music I was listening to. I was talking about oldies. I joked about how I was gonna become the mayor of Long Beach. Like, I was just throwing it out and seeing what he could pick up, and like, he liked my weird, and
yeah.
I liked his weird.
Our weirds jived.
Yeah, but I think it was because we both were just at that moment just agreed we are going to be totally ourselves. Yeah. And that was, I think, a really rare time and rare moment, especially in previous dating history, was, you have like fun first date Kiely, who's LA Kiely and really cool and really interesting and has to be different than everybody else. Then you have cool first date Curtis. And we both
did not talk about his science fiction addiction and love of comic books, strange music.
Yeah, that's true. But no, I initially, from the get-go, we were just totally unapologetically ourselves, and that's how we got here. I mean, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing, and we wouldn't have this if we weren't totally unapologetically ourselves. Yeah. And that's kind of why we want to be a part of this. And we're honored to even be considered, because we want to show people that it's okay to be you, and
not only okay to be you, but that the only way to have like a fulfilling relationship is to be you. We all have friends who are in a relationship and they know that their significant other or partner views them in a way that they're not, and I think the best relationships come from your partner seeing you as you see you, or helping you to see yourself in the way that they see you, and reaching that kind of.
That was something I said to you. Yeah. I said that. I said, this was like pretty early on, and it was like in the middle of, I don't know, we were in the middle of a conversation, and I kind of like stopped him abruptly, and I was like, I just want to say thank you. And he was like, why are you saying thank you? And I was like, because I think that you see me how I see me. We're so used to people pigeonholing us in one specific category, like, oh, she's cool, trendy girl, or she's smart bookworm, but there are so many different facets that make you a person. And I said thank you to Curtis that day, because I was just like, I think that you actually see me how I see myself, and that was a really beautiful and like emotional thing. I think I might have started tearing up at dinner.
Yeah, maybe. I think you might have had sunglasses on though. But if there's a game, if there's something that encourages those conversations between friends, between potential partners, between married couples, between family, that's awesome. It's something that we want to help out with. So we're excited to, potentially be a part.
Very excited. So choose us. We're very excited. We're ready to rock and roll. Yeah. And just thank you for the opportunity. Go Bumble. Woo. Go everybody. Thank you.
Okay. Stop recording. We're good.